26, and this is the Neural Left. I'm Mary Kane, and I'm here to keep the receipts while these kids lose their minds.
This is John Steele.
You're listening to Maya Thorne.
And I'm Julian Archer. We have a great show for you today.
I gotta tell you, after yesterday's breakdown on Trump's plan to treat Venezuela like a fixer-upper rental property, honestly, that annexation talk still has my blood boiling. And that ridiculous mifepristone stay? It's been a week already.
Like, low-key, yesterday was the imperialism reboot era. We are fully in the spin-off now.
It is absurd, Mary. But look, we've got a packed episode today. We are tracking Trump's arrival in Beijing for a summit that feels more like a surrender negotiation, the total collapse of our democratic guardrails, and some absolutely gut-wrenching updates on police accountability in the South.
And don't forget the plague. We literally have hantavirus cruise ship passengers in quarantine while the EPA decides to turn the ocean into a carbon-soaked science experiment. It's like the horsemen of the apocalypse are just carpooling at this point.
We have to start with the meeting of the Titans in Beijing. Trump touched down today, and let me tell you, the energy is... Look, it's theatrical, it's high stakes, and it smells like a backroom deal in a smoke-filled room in the 1920s.
Except there's no smoke, Julian, just the smog of a trade war we're currently losing.
Oh, spare me the pessimism, John. Look, the White House is out here, according to the Washington Stand, claiming we're in a position of strength because the trade deficit dropped. They're bringing Elon Musk and Tim Cook along like they're diplomatic envoys. It's corporate statecraft at its most naked.
Are you kidding me with this? You send Musk to negotiate with Xi? That's like sending a fox to negotiate the security of a hen house. But the fox is also trying to sell the chickens a subscription to a Mars colony.
It's giving main character syndrome on a global scale. Like, Musk being there is such a flex, but also high-key embarrassing for the actual State Department.
Look, here's the deal. Xi isn't playing checkers. He's playing a game where he owns the board, the pieces, and the table they're sitting on. The Council on Foreign Relations says China has the upper hand here because they control the rare earth minerals. If they sneeze, our entire tech sector gets a cold.
It's worse than that. We're over there begging for a trade truce because the Middle East is on fire and the Strait of Hormuz is closed. We need them more than they need us right now. And Trump knows it. It's legislative constipation on a global level. We can't move forward because we're backed up by our own fossil fuel addiction.
And the Match Act. That's the big sticking point. She wants relief from the multilateral alignment of technology controls. He wants our chips, and he's going to use the Busan truce as a hostage to get them. I'm telling you, this isn't a summit. It's a garage sale of American tech dominance.
No, literally, it's the unglobalization era. Stratfor is reporting this is just a test of strategic fault lines. We're basically just waiting to see who blinks first, but also everyone is trying to ignore that Russia is rattling the nuclear saber in the background.
It's a curveball, Maya. A nasty one. And my nephew, Vector, that kid who used to eat paste, he's probably on his little podcast today saying we should move the entire negotiation to the blockchain or some other digital snake oil. Honestly, the kid is a riot.
If the blockchain could feed my goats, Mary, I'd care. But back here on Earth...
It's a flop. The whole vibe is a flop.
Speaking of flops, let's talk about the actual structure of our government. Because right now, the foundation isn't just cracked, it's being sold for scrap metal. Brightline Watch and the VDEM Institute just dropped a report, and folks, it is grim. We've dropped from a 67 to a 57 on the democracy scale.
A 10-point drop in less than 2 years?
It's catastrophic, Julian. Stephen Levitsky over at Harvard is calling it competitive authoritarianism. We still have elections, sure, but the playing field is being tilted so far, it's basically a vertical wall.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. I saw this coming. I've seen this in war zones. You don't lose democracy all at once. You lose it in $100 bills and loyalty settlements.
You're talking about the Raskin letter. I mean, I'm telling you, this is the most blatant corruption I've seen since the Gilded Age. Jamie Raskin is calling out acting AG Todd Blanche for what looks like a pay-for-loyalty scheme.
They paid Michael Flynn over $1 million in a settlement for his politicized prosecution? $1 million of taxpayer money. It's a handout. It's a payoff. It's the DOJ acting like a private slush fund for the administration's buddies.
It's giving villain arc. Like, they aren't even hiding it anymore. It's all scratch your back if you help me overthrow the government energy.
I gotta tell you, when I was at the Union Hall last week, the guys were talking about this. They don't care about competitive authoritarianism jargon. They care that their tax dollars are going to a guy who lied to the FBI while they can't afford eggs.
And the Southern Poverty Law Center investigation. The House Judiciary Committee is dragging them in because they labeled some of these parental rights groups as hate groups. It's a total intimidation tactic. They're trying to silence the watchdogs.
It's the death by 1,000 cuts, Maya. You silence the watchdogs, you pay off the loyalists, and suddenly you wake up and the person in charge isn't a president, they're a landlord who won't fix the plumbing.
Speaking of things that are broken, the justice system in the South is doing exactly what it was designed to do: protect the state and squeeze the people. Did you guys see the Ronald Greene settlement? $4.8 million.
For a man who was beaten and dragged face down while he was shackled. The body cam footage, which they hid for 2 years, mind you, showed him apologizing to the officers while they used him as a punching bag.
Exactly. And here's the kicker. The state pays nearly $5 million to the family, but the feds declined to bring charges against the troopers. It's checkbook justice, plain and simple. They pay a settlement to keep the trial off the front page, but the guys who did it are still walking the beat.
That's high-key the most depressing part. The state just has a murder budget now. They budget for the settlements instead of fixing the behavior. It's a subscription service for state-sanctioned violence.
God, and it's the same state apparatus that's coming for the voter rolls. DHS is out here saying they identified 24,000 potential non-citizens on voter rolls. It's a manufactured crisis. They use these tiny administrative errors to justify mass purges.
It is a pincher movement. You terrorize the community with police who have qualified immunity, and then you disenfranchise them so they can't even vote the bums out. It's the Southern Front, and it's being funded by the RNC's Election Integrity Army.
No, the Virginia situation is actually the wildest one. The state Supreme Court just nuked a voter-approved redistricting map. 3 million people voted yes, and 4 Republican judges were just like, nah, cringe, we're deleting that.
They said it was a procedural error? Are you kidding me? A procedural error because the vote happened during an election? That's like a referee calling back a touchdown because the grass was too green. It's a power grab, plain and simple.
It's the Supreme Court's callous ruling. They've gutted the Voting Rights Act to the point where partisan gerrymandering is the ultimate shield for racial exclusion. If you say you're doing it for the party, the courts say, have a nice day.
Wait, before we get into the literal plague updates, can we talk about who's actually keeping this whole thing running?
Oh, I see where you're going. Look, independent media like this doesn't just manifest out of the ether. It takes real human work to build the infrastructure.
No, literally. We are 100% here because of the vision and the grind of our creator, Eric Christensen at Neural Network Media.
He's not a media conglomerate. He is a builder who poured his own resources and time to create this platform so we could have these conversations.
If you value independent voices over corporate algorithms, please like, subscribe, and consider visiting our new Patreon at patreon.com/Neural Network Media to support this work.
It's an act of solidarity that keeps the lights on and the servers running, and Lord knows we need those lights on right now.
Okay, we are back, and I have my black book open to the page on leadership ethics, or the total lack thereof. We had field hearings in West Palm Beach yesterday about the Epstein files. Ayanna Pressley was there, and she was incredible.
I gotta tell you, the testimony from the survivors, Courtney Wild and Danny Bensky, it'll break your heart. They found out that the DOJ released 3 million pages of files, but they left the survivors' statements out while outing the victims' names.
That's peak main character energy from the DOJ. They want the clout for transparency, but they're actually just re-traumatizing the victims. It's a flop era for accountability.
The DOJ says there are 1,200 victims now. 1,200! And we're still fighting for an amendment to the Crime Victim Rights Act just to make sure they get a phone call before the government signs a non-prosecution deal? It's legislative malpractice.
And then you look at the Senate races. In Michigan, we've got Abdul El Sayed, a guy I actually like, getting hammered by Breitbart because he allegedly doesn't have a medical license in the states where he's practicing.
Oh, please. These guys are focusing on a paperwork issue while the other side is trying to annex South America. But look, in this environment, a lack of credentialing is a target on your back. The GOP is going to use that to cancel the entire campaign.
The faking it till you make it era is officially over for the left, I guess. We have to be 100% perfect or we get ratioed into oblivion.
Can we talk about the thing that's actually going to kill us? Because the hantavirus is on the move. We got 11 cases from that MV Hondius cruise ship. 3 people are dead.
And it's the Andes strain, the one that goes person to person. There's a woman in Paris right now on an artificial lung, and we've got a guy in Omaha in the national quarantine unit.
It's terrifying. And what is our brilliant EPA doing while a respiratory virus is spreading? They're fast-tracking ocean carbon sequestration.
They want to dump chemicals in the ocean to soak up carbon? It's a Band-Aid for a bullet wound. We're deregulating PFAS and plastic-burning plants, but we're going to engineer the ocean? It's backyard neighborhood feud logic. I'll poison the creek to make the lawn look greener.
It's the Great Caribbean Reef Collapse all over again. The Guardian says the reefs are dying because they have no legal protection, and we're out here playing God with the deep ocean. It's disgusting.
Let's get to the money, because at the end of the day, it always comes back to the wallet. I saw the Ready Nation report. Childcare is costing the economy $172 billion a year in lost productivity.
No, literally, infant care in Atlanta is $13K a year. That's more than some college tuitions. We are in a childcare desert era.
And Trump's solution is a gas tax suspension? The Gas Prices Relief Act. It's a temporary fix trap. You suspend the tax, you gut the infrastructure fund, and then the oil companies just raise the prices anyway. It's a gift to big oil wrapped in a common man sticker.
It's national edging, Julian. They promise relief, they give you a 3-month break, and then the bill comes due and the roads are even worse.
It's the Union Hall versus the penthouse again. We need the SEED Act for childcare, not a 3-cent break at the pump.
All of this leads us to the heart of the matter, our main story today. The Grand Alliance, the Black Jewish political coalition that built the modern left, is, well, it's screaming. It's fracturing right before our eyes.
You're talking about Midwood, Brooklyn.
Yes. Outside the Young Israel of Midwood Synagogue, protesters with Hezbollah flags, violent clashes, a young Jewish girl being assaulted, and John Fetterman, who, say what you will about his hoodies, he is calling out the party. He's asking, where is the condemnation?
I gotta tell you, this is a mess. I've covered conflicts where the neighbor turns on the neighbor over a flag, and it feels like that's coming home. You have an Israeli real estate expo inside a synagogue, which is controversial, sure, but waving Hezbollah flags at a place of worship?
It's a PR disaster era for the left. Like, you can support Gaza without doing a villain arc at a synagogue. The vibes are completely rancid.
It's biologically unsustainable, Julian. You have a Jewish judge in Pennsylvania leaving the Democratic Party because of disturbingly common anti-Semitism. If the coalition breaks, the GOP doesn't even have to campaign. They just sit back and watch us eat ourselves.
But wait, is it a fracture or is it a realignment? Look at Masai Ujiri and the Dallas Mavericks. We're seeing black leaders and Jewish leaders still trying to find common ground in sport and culture, but the political fringes are tearing the middle apart.
High key, it's a rebrand gone wrong. The left tried to go all in on identity politics, and now all the identities are fighting for the top spot. It's like a battle royale where everyone loses.
Look, here's the deal. My generation built these alliances on the floor of the factory in the streets of Selma. We didn't agree on everything, but we agreed on the enemy. Now we're so busy decoding each other's language that we can't see the guys in the suits taking the whole damn country.
The Anti-Defamation League is out here saying Fox News and Trump are fueling this. But Mary's right. We're doing the work for them. If we can't protect a synagogue in Brooklyn, how are we supposed to protect the Constitution?
It is about the soul of the party. If we abandon our Jewish brothers and sisters, we lose the moral high ground. But if we silence the voices calling for justice in Gaza, we lose our youth. It is a knife edge, and the Black Book of Political History is going to have a very ugly chapter about May 2026.
Or it's just the end of the world era. Ratio me if you want, but the vibes say we're cooked.
Not on my watch, kid. We're still standing. That's the show for today. We covered the Beijing surrender, the DOJ's loyalty slush fund, and a culture war that's threatening to burn down the house we're all living in.
Keep the faith, folks.
Feed the goats.
Stay unproblematic.
Get out there, hold the line, and for the love of everything, watch your back. We're in for a